Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whoever, whichever, wherever, however way you shall be watching this video, if you should so choose to watch this video. And if you chose to do so, I appreciate it. Thank you for spending your time here watching me talk for a certain amount of time. Appreciate it. Your time is valuable and you chose to spend it with me. It is almost the afternoon. It's a little bit, about an hour or so away. So this is day 3 of my current job. At my current job, I like it because salary, and there's not like a traditional punch in, punch out, and I have to be stuck inside all day. I don't necessarily have to be, but for the sake of today's exception, that I have to get a company laptop set up so I can get all of my computer work done, computer training and whatnot out of the way. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get it all out of the way. It's going to be pretty boring because I'm not really a classroom or just the kind of person that likes to sit in front of a screen all day to learn something. I'd rather be out and about, hands-on, get my hands dirty, because that's, I think, probably the best way to learn in general. Second to observation, seeing how things are done. Reading it in a book, or reading a book or something is, like, I would think, typically the first step, obviously. But so there's that. I gotta get that out of the way. So today's subject video is going to be, again, thematic. The next month is going to be thematic for something that what means the most to me, or not what means the most, what blank means to me. So the blank means whatever the subject is. So today's subject for that would be humor. So what does humor mean to me? Well, I think humor is pretty darn important. Pardon my language. Humor can be crucial in providing somebody not only just to kind of like bring them at ease and relax them in certain situations, but it could be a coping mechanism. As an example, there are numerous comedians who use humor as a coping mechanism to kind of help them deal with some kind of issue that you're dealing with, like depression, anxiety, what have you. One of the more well-known comedians and actors is Robin Williams. A very personable individual. You can get along with him. He gets along with almost everybody. Monumental impact in a wide variety of areas. If you have a conversation with him, it feels like you probably knew him for a long time. Robin Williams was definitely one of the top, especially top actors and comedians that especially had to deal with like depression. Humor goes beyond just coping, beyond just setting the tone, but it also can be useful in a wide variety of other areas, like education. You'll find that many students would prefer a teacher who is humorous or can use humor as a way of demonstrating or a way of effectively relating to the students what they're trying to teach them, depending on the subject matter. Now, if it's one of those classrooms where it's like, let's say, maybe it's a kind of lesson where it's more hands-on or more involved with your hands are more involved, more hands-on, basically. Both. Or even if it's just explaining simple concepts or difficult concepts in a way that's relatable but also humorous to students. You'll find that students will prefer those teachers over teachers that just pretty much really speak in monotone, or just tells you to open up to a certain page, a certain chapter, give you a lecture, just straight teach you without really any or at least what you would think is, without any kind of flair. I'd rather sit in I'm not a classroom tech, but I'd rather sit in a classroom with a teacher who, again, would use humor as a tool to educate what he's trying to tell us, what he's trying to teach his students, versus the other. Because again, I think that's much more of an effective way of teaching somebody. Humor is also something that can just be purely beneficial for you physically. I think there have been studies done where they kind of tested the overall health and well-being of individuals who laughs regularly versus individuals who haven't laughed or haven't laughed enough to a certain degree. And the measurements obviously varies in how they measure that. But they found that individuals who have spent less time, laughing and whatnot, are found to be more stressed. So there is physical ramifications, there's mental ramifications that humor can have an effect on in a more positive way. Humor, I think, should be something that is more not available, obviously more available, but more just emphasized in a wide variety of different areas and avenues and methods. I think my prime example, based on my interests, if I had to give an example, is Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's an excellent communicator. He's an excellent science communicator. He's just smart in general and what he knows. But he also does a show called Star Talk, in which he has a comedian, Chuck Nice, as his co-host. And Chuck Nice does a great job at just pairing well together and just rebutting or just spinning something or just making what Neil deGrasse Tyson's talking about humorous. And there's something to be said where if you were to have that same type of conversation with somebody who maybe just listens to, let's say, Neil deGrasse Tyson talking, they could be interested. But when you incorporate humor, you also have a better time or better chance of remembering the speech that was given, or the context, or at least certain details of it more than if there were no humor. And I think there should be more of that in general, especially if you're the type that just likes listening to different ways of thinking or different viewpoints in general. I mean, albeit probably there may be some circumstances where humor just wouldn't be appropriate, depending on the sensitivity of the subject, but humor is, I think, and if I had to give it a rating in terms of importance for me, I would give it at least an 8. Typically a 10, obviously, in terms of importance. Now, don't ask me to tell you a joke, or ask me to, be a comedian for you or anything like that. The only jokes that I'd probably tell, which maybe brings a chuckle, or dad jokes, or just that gives you okay, no, but yeah, humor is important, plays a crucial role, and can't stress it enough that everybody should have more of it to some degree in their life, whether they're the ones providing the humor or just receiving the effects for that humor, for what it brings, for the positive impact, positive effect. So that's what today's subject is. Tomorrow is going to be on the fly. I'm not going to tell you what tomorrow's subject is or tomorrow's particular subject until tomorrow. So I like to kind of like just come up with the subject matter on a day-by-day basis. But I appreciate you watching. Thanks for watching. You matter. You mean the world to yourself. You mean the world to others. Hang in there. Things will get better. Times will get rough, but the waters will eventually calm. The storm will pass. Talk to people if you need to. If you need help, don't be afraid to reach out for help. If you're used to doing everything on your own, take small steps. You don't have to go cold turkey and being the type that just never asks for help and just asking for all kinds of help. If you're the type that just takes some level of resentment for asking for help, because that will really do a number on you as well. Little steps, do it. Seek help for the subjects or for the matters, for the reasons that you really need to seek help for initially, and then I would like to believe and think that things will start to fall in line for you and get better as long as you're consistent and proactive in taking those steps. Again, rounding it from yesterday's video, consistency is important as well. Other than that, thank you for watching. I will be doing 100 push-ups today as part of 100 push-ups a day for the rest of this month, but I will not be recording that, so I know there's a matter of holding myself accountable for it, but I will. Again, I don't mind doing push-ups. I actually haven't done push-ups in a while, so it's going to be I have to get used to it again and get into that routine. But it should be good. So again, thanks for watching. You have a great rest of your day or night or evening, whatever time zone you shall be in. And I'll see you or talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.